Now that we have a shaded model, we can continue with creating a lighting setup. First, let's make sure we disable the preview environment that we added while making materials. This gives us a clean slate to work on. In CG there are two main approaches to lighting. One is using light objects from the add menu, like the rectangle light and the sphere light. If we create a rectangle light and move it in the scene, we can immediately see the effect. It's a rectangle that emits light equally from its surface, 180 degrees around it. There are a few options that we can play with: its size, that we can also adjust from the viewport gizmo, the color of the light being emitted, and the intensity of the light. Each light has its specific options too. For example, the rectangle light has a spread angle, which concentrates or disperses the emitted light. The spot, on the other hand, has a cone angle and penumbra, which determine how soft the light is. You can think of all these settings as the artificial lamps you can find in a photo studio, like a softbox or a strobe light or just a light bulb. There's just one different lamp, and that is the sun. It is interpreted as an infinitely distant lamp, meaning all the shadows will be parallel and everything will have an even amount of lighting. The last option for lighting is from the node editor. If you switch it to world, you can control the ambient lighting in your scene. By default it is gray, but you can change it to any color, increase its intensity, and if you add an environment texture, plug in an HDRI, which is a 360-degree panorama image with high dynamic range. You can find this all over the internet. To be fair, there are a ton of lighting setups to do, and you can find tutorials for all of them on YouTube. Just to show you that you don't need anything complicated for a good image, let's set up a large plane for the ground. Make sure we have only sunlight in our scene. Give it a warm color and set it at a low angle like this. Also, make sure to increase the intensity. You want nice, rich colors with slightly washed out highlights. To take care of the ambient light, let's put a bluish color in the world node tree. We're aiming to make the shadows a nice, cold color to contrast with the warm highlights. Feel free to experiment with lights and create different moods. It is a very useful exercise. In the next part, we're going to try and frame our image with a camera. Also, if you have skipped some of the previous steps but wish to follow along from here, you can get all the project files for this tutorial series from the link in the description below. I'll also be adding some bonus videos in there if anyone wants to speed up their learning process. Subscribe for more tutorials, and see you in the next episode.